Good afternoon, beautiful people. Happy Wednesday. I'm dropping in early this week because we're doing 2 oils this week. We're doing Birch Week and Black Pepper Week. And I'm going to share my musings on this beautiful birch oil. So thank you for joining me. Welcome to Arise with Jessica Carey. I'm so grateful to have you here. Thank you for watching if you're watching later. And I'm sure there'll be a few ladies dropping in to watch the live shortly. So when I first started doing these musings, I just wanted to share that I was just wanting to express how I've used the oils in my own life and how I've used each oil to support me on a quite deep emotional and energetic level. Of course, practical and physical as well. But what I've noticed has come through and what is in resonance with people when I'm expressing is my vulnerability around how that's supported me, how each oil has specifically supported me in a certain way in their life, which is why I'm so passionate about sharing the emotional and the energetic support of who we are as human beings and how we can grow and evolve into deeply knowing ourselves more. And that just lights me up to my core. And I'm also really aware of how that can actually trigger or can make people feel uncomfortable. So it's not my intention to make you feel that way, but I would say, if you watch this video and something either resonates or it triggers you or it brings up something within you, give yourself space to feel through it and give yourself space to connect yourself to yourself in a new way, or ask yourself a new question or a more conscious question around how you show up in the world, or why something may feel a certain way in your body. So Birch Week. So birch is actually an oil that doTERRA only sources once a year. It's a very sacred oil and it only comes around once a year because of the way it's grown seasonally. It's a really beautiful oil, this little baby, and it's a sister plant to beautiful wintergreen. And when I smell this and when I anchor into the aroma of birch, it makes me feel, it just brings me back into my center. And the reason for that is because birch is actually the oil of support. So birch offers support to the unsupported. And I'm going to express a little bit about my journey around support in this. And I would love you to feel into your body, or feel into a time when you felt attacked or you felt unsupported in your life, and how you overcome it, or how you found the courage to move through it. And I'm not alone in saying this, that every single human being on the planet has felt unsupported at some time in their life. So I'm going to share a really practical way that I've used birch, firstly. So I was playing touch football a couple of weeks ago, and I just got back from Sydney and I rolled my ankle. I wasn't even doing anything cool when I rolled my ankle. I wasn't like trying to step a fella or anything. I was literally jogging along and my ankle gave way, and I was just like, ow, like that really hurt. And it hurt. I had to come home and ice it, and I thought, how am I going to heal this? How am I going to support my ankle? So I always look at the body as a way that it sends messages, and I was really exhausted after Sydney, so I was like, okay, Jessica, you didn't feel like playing touch, you went, you hurt yourself, great work, thanks universe. So the reason I looked into that is because I was like, well, how I view the body is like, if I was strong and vital in all of my body, then my ankle wouldn't have rolled. My ankle wouldn't have had a weak point or a weak energetic point in it that I had to hurt myself. So I actually layered birch on my ankle alongside marjoram, copaiba, and frankincense, and with some fractionated coconut oil. And I actually did that with some deep blue rub as well. So I actually used that on my ankle for 2 weeks straight, icing it every day to support inflammation. And My ankles being right as rain. So if you look at our ankles as a space of support, our ankles actually support a lot of our body. It's where we stand, and a lot of us stand all day. So looking at our body as a means of our ankles support us, that's why I went straight for birch to use on my ankles. So that's a really practical way that I use birch. Now, I'm going to tap into the emotional and the energetic. So I've written a couple of notes down because it's something I really want to be able to express, because every single human being on the planet can feel this at some point. So I'd love you to close your eyes and drop into your heart and feel into a time where you felt pain. Feel into a time where you felt unsupported or rejected, or like you don't fit in, or that you're not accepted for who you are. And feel into what emotions that brings up for you. Does it bring up anger? Does it bring up sadness? Does it bring up isolation? Does it bring up abandonment? I know I've felt that. I know I've felt very abandoned in many parts of my life and very unsupported. And what I want to share with you all is the way that I have learned to embody and support myself. And I've done this with the support of birch, but I've also done this by learning to first and foremost support myself. And I feel like as human beings, we do become really reliant on others, whether that's partners, friendships, parents, other people, to make us feel full or to make us feel supported in what we're here to do for the planet or what we're here to do in life or our choices that we make. And I have learnt so beautifully, and through a lot of pain and a lot of messiness and a lot of tears, how to deeply support my soul first and foremost every time, and to know that I am always supported and that I am never alone in any single moment, that I'm always deeply held by the earth. If you think and feel into the moments, if you even just put your feet on the ground right now, you know, we're being held by something so much bigger and so much greater than ourselves. And when you tune into the times when you felt like you weren't supported, and then this miracle or this magic or this alignment happened where you were supported. When we tap into that energy. So we are never not supported when first and foremost we can learn to support ourselves, when we can learn our own inner strength and learn to know that we can have a really strong back but a really soft front. I spent a lot of my younger years in high school and in my early 20s really being reliant on other people for support, yet not supporting my own soul first and foremost intimately. I was reliant on a lot of the people in my life, the friendships, the men in my life, and I was very reliant on them showing up for me in a certain way, and then being really devastated and not willing to stand strong in myself. So this is where the support comes in, because over the years I've felt some very, very intense abandonment. And again, quite ironic how I'm tapping into Birch Week this week is I felt that actually over the weekend with a couple of situations that happened as well. And the reason I want to share that is because I can either have the choice to say I'm not supported, or I'm not celebrated, or I'm not seen or witnessed or accepted by those people, or I can tune in and go, and change a new story and create a new dialect around it, and first and foremost support myself. So rejection is a very big emotion that we feel in life, and I feel like so many of us have a fear around being rejected, whether that's in social circles, whether that's in relationships, whether that's intimate relationships, whether that's by family members, by making certain choices. There's just so much fear around rejection. But when we can tune in and tap in to know that we first and foremost can support ourselves, and that we know that we can have the endurance to face trials, to face adversity in our life, and whether any conditions that come into our life, we can stay strong in a space of supporting ourselves, but also being flexible to be supported by others. So what I've noticed in my journey around support is I've had some very deep abandonment, and as human beings, we all have that on some level. Whether we're consciously aware of it or whether it's subconscious, there is always a level of that until you work through it. And what I've noticed in the last few years, how I've been deeply unsupported by people that I had certain expectations on in my life to support me. It's made me stronger, and it's made me more resilient, but it's actually also shut off my heart in a way that I've found it really difficult and really challenging to receive support now, because I've learned so deeply to support myself. So that's great, but when that support comes back in, when you have friendships or women who come in, or when you have a partner, whether you're a male or a female, and they're coming into your life and they want to support you and celebrate you and just light you up, and they're just in awe of everything that you are, if you can't let that support back in, you're going to push it away. So I've used Birch of recent to really assist me in tapping back into the energy of receiving support from others again, but also knowing that if I don't receive that support, that I am deeply held by the earth, that I'm deeply supported by the universe, and I'm strong enough and resilient enough to know myself so deeply, but also open my heart to receive again. So I don't know if that resonates with anyone, but from the conversations I've had with so many beautiful souls in my life, there's always a resonance, and there's always a connection with one another, and there's always a way that we can be more connected and more alike than we think when we actually have the courage to express our vulnerability. And yeah, through these videos, I really didn't know that I was going to share a lot of my journey over the last 3 years. But I found it's been deeply healing for me, and it's also been deeply healing for a lot of other people. So I want to express my gratitude if you make the space or take the time to watch these videos. It means a lot to me, regardless of whether anyone puts any hearts or comments or likes. I know I'm just deeply supported, whether that's by people that are in my physical reality or not. So Birch has taught me to trust and have faith, even in the adversity of abandonment in any form of your life, whether that's from you were 5 and one of your parents left, or whether that's because a partner left you and you were left devastated, or whether that's because friends weren't there through a really dark space in your life. So I want you to know that moving through that pain can come with a lot of ease when you learn to support yourself. And it also reinforces us that there's more to life than pain, that there's so much joy in the creation of moving through hardship or moving through things that we thought were bad situations in our life, and coming back into them in a space of love and compassion, first and foremost for oneself. So I had a friend, I'm going to share this little bit. I had a friend of mine that I've known for about 10 years from school. And a couple of months ago, he come up and said to me, and he was like, Jessica, you know you're going to cop shit for what you do. He said, you know you're going to cop shit for who you are. And I was like, oh, that's an interesting comment. And I sat there and I looked at him with love and compassion, and I still do that with every single person who's in my life. And I thought, wow, this is very much a reflection of you, not me. Because if you believe that I'm going to cop shit for what I do, that's your story and that's your journey. Because each of us have a unique essence, and each of us have a way that we can learn to have inner strength, that when people say comments like that it doesn't actually affect us. And that it shows more about, and it shows me more compassion to have towards that person and more love to send to that person. So I guess it's an awareness that we can teach one another around how we can show compassion and support in others, to know that we're all going through stuff. And that's just what Birch has support me. The aroma and the anchoring of Birch has just deeply tuned me into this week into what support means to me. And I think a lot of the time we actually haven't tuned into that enough in ourselves, of supporting ourselves so deeply and so intimately that we can then support others from a space of overflow. And so that it doesn't feel like resistance, it feels like joy, because you want to support others and celebrate others' lives and celebrate people for who they are and who they are in their authentic, vulnerable expression. Because what this world needs is more people who've come alive into supporting themselves first and foremost, and then opening their heart to receive that from others. I didn't know that all was going to come out, but it feels good. It feels good. I'm really happy and open and loving being able to express my truth and express my heart to the world. So thank you those that are watching. I'm really grateful to have you here. And if you want to see a little bit more about Birch, it's been over the last 2 days. I'm doing a double week this week. I'm doing another live on Friday. It's going to be on the oil of black pepper, which is on an emotional level, the oil of unmasking, which ties very much in theme with support. So I wanted to do them both together. So I'm going to share my musings on black pepper and the masks that we can wear in life. So thank you so much for joining me live, beautiful beings, and I hope you have a magical Wednesday. And if you have any questions, pop them below. If you have anything that's come up for you in this call, I would love to create a dialogue with you on this chat. And please share this if you feel that someone could benefit from this expression, and heart, like, whatever you feel like. I don't know how to really do that. I'm not really good at, I'm not really a seller in that space, but I just want to show up in this space as from a heart center and being able to express who I am. So thank you for joining me, beautiful beings. Mwah. And happy Wednesday, and I will see you all on Friday. Mwah.